Hi everyone, Darren Hunter here. In today's age, you can't just have boring photos on your property marketing listings. You've got to have a virtual walkthrough tour. That way, tenants can quickly qualify themselves and look through the property even at 2 in the morning online. But I can hear you say, look, Darren, it's too expensive with cameras and takes too long. That's why you've got to go to virtualtourscreator.com.au and check out how you can do walkthrough virtual tours using your mobile phone. Go and check it out. Also, talk to Tom there at virtualtourscreator.com.au on how you can quickly turn your tours into really cheap floor plans as well. Take care.
Hi, it's Deniz Yusuf here from IGT, and I have Joe Iemma here from Doyle Spillane, all the way in Sydney. Joe, thank you so much for coming on board. How are things going?
Excellent, mate. No, happy to be on, and everything's going really well. Yeah, just another day in property management land. It's all good.
It is. So much happens in the day of a property manager, mate. We could talk about that for hours, let alone what we're going to talk about, on the Grow 100 Expert Challenge that we're going to be doing. But joys of real estate. I'm waiting for that TV show to occur.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it too.
Yeah, mate, it's all good. So, Joe, mate, we've known each other for years. We attended real estate conferences together.
We did quite a few years ago. I think we were over 20 years. Oh, it might have been about 20 years ago now, yeah.
No, come on, mate. I haven't been in the industry that long. No? I'm not as old as you. But what was it, 2009, I think it was.
Oh, was it that? No, really. Yeah. I didn't think about that the other day. So, yeah. Time flies when you're having fun, mate.
It does. And look, Joe, I need to ask. I know that you're a foreigner like me, as we call it in Australia. We're wogs. We're allowed to say it because we are one. But I need to start off. I need to get to know a little bit about you. I'm presuming you're going to give me the right answer, and I'm hoping you are. But is it tea or coffee for you, mate?
Oh, no, definitely coffee, and the stronger the better. Yeah, sort of very short black espresso coffee with a dash of milk. Yeah, so definitely. If I told you I probably drink 10 shots before I get to work of a morning, that's my start to the morning,
mate, and that's why we get on so well. Okay. Look, just for the listeners out there, I did know that Joe likes his coffee. We've shared quite a few. Got some good options around your office, down on the water there too, Joe. You've got some really good options there. So if anyone wants to visit Joe at Doyle and Spillane in the northern suburbs of Sydney, be sure that he buys you a coffee. Actually, if he's going to take the time out of his day, you should be buying him a coffee, right?
Always happy to buy coffee. We're on good basis with the local coffee shops. So.
Yeah, beautiful. So excellent. So Joe, like right at the beginning, what did you do before real estate? Like, real estate for me started in 1st of June 2008. But what did you do? Everyone knows I sold fruit, right? But what about yourself?
Straight out of school, first job. Probably was about the 1st of December 1988. So, and the HSC finished on about the 25th of November. So, straight out of school, I know nothing else really.
Well, not too many people, Joe, can say that they jump straight into real estate. So this is the one industry for you the whole time.
Pretty much, yeah. Look, it's all I know here, but it's good, and we probably wouldn't have it any other way. Sort of maybe later in life, I might like to own a coffee shop or something like that. I think.
Tell you what, like it's something that I'd love to do as well, and a lot of people are waiting for me to open one. But we need to get a conglomerate of real estate agents that love coffee, and we could start a real estate coffee chain. What do you reckon?
Yeah. Well, we love people and we love coffee, so. Makes sense. Yeah.
I think coffee these days, if someone says, hey, do you want to have a coffee? It means let's connect. Let's have a meeting. Yeah, it's awesome. So, Joe, what's your buzz in real estate? What really, gets you going? What really hypes you up, gets you excited?
Yeah. Look, I just, as I said, like I still enjoy it. It's like, the first day I walked into sort of the industry. I really enjoy helping people. I come from an Italian background, and back in the day, I remember my mum saying, you need to get a good job, and just because you dressed up to go to work, they thought it was a good job, and just helping people, again, with my background, there's a lot of people that I dealt with initially that, they didn't know how to speak English. They were older people. They needed help, and I was lucky enough to work for, a sort of a friend of the family who, was looked at like the mayor of the area, because everyone came to him for help. And whether it be signing a form or filling in, forms for kids' schools or hospitals or everyone came to him. So I really enjoyed that part of it, and I enjoy it. And even, now I still have, people that will ring me and say, "Oh, can you just pop in? I need this form. We got something in the mail. Can you come and read it for us?" And it's funny because they have their own children and that, but they still call on me to sort of do that. So, and obviously, we look after property. We've been able to assist them in buying properties and looking after their kids. So, and Dee Why, where my office is based, it's a melting pot. There's so many different cultures in the area, and I love helping people that need help. And I think that's why I've always gravitated towards the rentals. Like sales, I thought, you do the deal, they move on, you never really speak to them again. Where rentals, it's constant. I see people now that I rented properties to 30 years ago in the streets, and they still say hello and they still know me, and they come back to me if they need something. So that's, if anything, like I get up every day, and there's not many days that I get up and I feel say, "Oh, I don't want to go to work today." I'm always sort of happy to come to work and do my stuff. Yeah.
Mate, Joe, that's awesome. I mean, genuinely, you are one of those guys that would just do anything for anyone. Obviously, you've had a really good mentor that's put that into you as well when you first started in real estate, and you continue to do it. I mean, obviously in our Inspired Growth Inner Circle, our Facebook group that we have, sometimes it's you asking you might have a landlord and you reach out and, "Hey, someone got a property in this area." However, when someone's asking for help, no doubt, it's your name that's up there saying, "Hey, yeah, give us a call," or I'll reach out. And, sometimes those connects actually occur without even seeing a post in the group. People just reach out to you naturally now.
Oh, definitely. And I reach out all the time. Yeah, look, yep. I think that's the beauty of IGT and what you guys have been able to create is that, it's good. We take calls from each other and we help each other. It's great. It's a good community. And, look, even here, like my office is an independent. We always have been. And when you're an independent, it's hard because, and also when you have staff and they need training, you don't get that assistance from a franchise. But with the group that you've been able to create, we don't need anything else. Like the team has so many resources that they can, rely on, and also other people from other offices that they meet at conferences and things like that. So, it's really good what you've been able to create.
Mate, I appreciate the plug. But, you brought up your office. So, tell us a little bit about your office. As you mentioned, you are an independent, you're in Dee Why. Tell us a little bit about your office and your marketplace. Like, obviously, you've mentioned it's multicultural. You need to adapt to all different types and styles of people as well. And naturally, you do that really well. But a lot of we've got listeners around the globe, Joe. So they don't know Dee Why, right? So
well, we call it God's country. We're on the northern beaches of Sydney. Most people don't know where that is, but if you say Manly, they know. So we're probably about a 5-minute drive out of Manly. We've got a more concentration of, we're pretty lucky in the sense that in our office here, we probably only manage all our properties that we manage. 95% of our properties that we manage are within a 5K radius. So, Manly's probably the furthest we go sort of south. Mona Vale is north, and west we go to the suburbs, Frenchs Forest, and they're all like 5-minute drives away. So, and most of our properties we manage are in that immediate area. Look, it's a mix of sort of home units and freestanding homes. We probably manage 75% of our portfolio are apartments and units, and 25% are homes. I think that's becoming even less now because to buy something in our area at the moment, even to knock it down and start again, your land values is up around $2 million at the moment. So, that's making it really hard for people to buy an investment home to rent out. So, most of the homes that we rent are from people that are transferring overseas or interstate for work, and primarily the home units they will buy as investments. We deal with a lot of mum and dad first-time investors. Most of our clientele that are of that, just single sort of investments, one or two. We do manage, a couple of buildings in total. So we have an apartment building, where we manage 26. We've just taken over another one, which is 25. There probably 15 years ago, there was a lot of development in Dee Why. Now it's really backed off and there's not a lot going on. We're pretty lucky. It's a good sort of vibe, and we have a lot of different nationalities as well that sort of are drawn to the beach lifestyle. So no, we're pretty lucky where we work. I think every day.
That's awesome, Joe. And you were talking about some numbers of properties you've got there. So how many in total? How many doors in total has Doyle and Spillane got under management at the moment?
So we manage 1,020 properties, or door properties. And as I said, probably 900 of those would be apartments. Look, it's and look, we did manage. It took us a while to get over that 1,000 mark. But sort of in the last 12 months, we've sort of been able to crack that, that magic figure that some of my business partners used to say, have we reached 1,000 yet? Have we reached 1,000 yet? And I was like, no, 990, 995, we're going to have a big party when we reach 1,000, and then we reach 1,000 and no one worried about it. So anyway.
Oh, mate. And you've got to tell your business partners to stop selling the management so you can hit
at the moment, like it's massive. Like the market here in New South Wales especially is sort of really strong. So we are, but I see that question all the time, and I see people get upset about it, but no, it comes around, it goes around. And we're lucky that there's a few more investors getting into the marketplace at the moment, because, there was a period there for about 4 or 5 years where, the government wasn't kind to our investors. Well, I think the government's never kind to our investors, but, they were heavily taxed on different things. So, investment in New South Wales wasn't a preferred method for people that were looking to purchase. They were going interstate or overseas. But it comes around. It's fine.
Yeah, certainly does. So, Joe, you have a leasing agent as well, or property your team, your PMs, are they leasing their own properties? How's that?
No. So again, and part of growing, probably about 15 years ago, we looked at our structure and we realized that, we were running at about 600 properties. We had 3 property managers. They were looking after 200 each, doing it from go to woe. And we had stopped growing because they were getting to the max, a couple of hundred each, they were getting to the max. So, and again, through conferences that we attended, we came in contact with, a lot of people, and I spoke, and at that time there was, leasing agents and BDMs were, just no one was really doing that, and it was a bit of a buzzword. So I really looked at that and came back and said, okay, this is how we're going to move forward. So, we're going to have 3 leasing consultants, and we're going to have 3 property managers, and we're going to have me, who's going to be a BDM, and everyone went, oh, we're going to employ 4 extra people, what? But I said, yeah, don't worry, because, we're going to provide this amazing service, and our leasing guys are going to go out and lease properties. Our property managers are going to do what they're supposed to be doing, and I'm going to, list all these properties. So, sold that to the directors at that time, and we haven't looked back. We're able to grow, and we've been able to grow without any stresses on the department. So we have 3 leasing consultants. Their job is to deal with tenants that are looking for properties. So they'll look after marketing, show properties, do applications. Our property managers, they're our senior people. So either they're experienced, they handle repairs, they handle arrears, they handle outgoing checks. And then myself, I sort of run around and sort of list properties and speak to investors and oversee the department. But since then, now we've got 4 leasing consultants, we've got 4 property managers, we've got an accounts department, and we've got a general manager or a head of department that looks after it. So having that structure in place has allowed us to grow.
Beautiful. No, that's awesome. Okay, Joe, we've got some good history on you. You guys have been around for a while. You've listed hundreds of properties in your time. Now let's hook into the Grow 100 Expert Challenge. You're an expert, no doubt. We've had you on our plenty of podcasts. You've spoken at our conference previously. You're speaking at the next one. Now, if you were to grow 100 properties in a 12-month period, if that was your key focus, forget about running the office, forget about staffing issues, forget about doing anything, what would be your top 2 strategies to grow 100 properties in a 12-month period?
Yeah, and I think we touched on it a bit. Whenever I'm in a good space and I'm really looking to sort of ramp it up, I'll make a lot of phone calls, to people, and we made a concentrated effort a few years ago to just try and provide a really good service to our current clients. Like, there's so many people out there and BDMs that spend money to bring a new client in, but they've got 1,000 clients sitting there that aren't being spoken to. So I will make phone calls, and doing 1,000, it will take me a year to get round to every single landlord, whether it be a phone call, email if they're overseas, and just check on them and say, how are you going? If I haven't spoken to them for a while, what are you doing? And again, this is probably old hat now, but 10, 15 years ago, no one was doing newsletters. So I embraced a landlord newsletter, and I've had one go out for the last 15 years, once a month. And in that newsletter, again, it's just keeping your landlords updated. Not only did it go to our landlords, it also goes to our past clients. So again, when we don't manage them anymore, most agents will not communicate with them anymore. They don't worry about it. They're gone. We did the deal and they're gone. But my guys, until they unsubscribe, they continue to get newsletters, and it's amazing how many people call me and say, oh, we got your newsletter, we haven't had an investment property for 5 years, but now we're looking to buy something else, or now my kids are looking for something, or whatever it may be, or Grant's house, well, Grant's in aged care and we need to rent that out, so that, for me, that's a big one. I think a lot of people don't service that side of their landlords. They've already got a database there. They ignore it. So I do that. Recently, we've started to do that with our tenants, because again, when I look at where our managements come from, our past landlords and our past tenants are our 2 biggest sort of referrers, So again, what do we do for tenants? So we implemented, when our tenants move in, they have a welcome gift. I guess everyone's doing that now, but we've been doing it for 15 years. When they move out, we do Easter, Christmas, we do gifts for people. If we know they're down or they're having a rough trot, my team will come to me and we'll send them a grocery pack or a credit card voucher for something, so doing little things for people, it buys you so much rapport, and you have them for life. Sometimes, as I said, I see a lot of people that came from overseas 20, 30 years ago from war-torn countries who now are still my best clients, and I'm looking after their children and their grandchildren, sadly, but not sadly, but just my age, like they say, oh yeah, she's had 3 kids and that one's married, and but yeah, that's my top tip, like I continue to nurture the business that I've had, as opposed to trying to chase, every door that's out there. Nurture the ones you have, and you will grow exponentially by doing that.
Joe, great tips. Like seriously, current clients, sadly, a lot of agents aren't doing no reason calls. You're touching base. You're keeping connected with them. You're connecting with your tenants. You're giving gifts. You mentioned now everyone's doing them. They're not.
Oh, really?
Assume they are. You're in the top 5%, mate. You are. Your company is doing an amazing job.
Well, I can tell you, and it doesn't, you say they aren't, but it doesn't surprise me. I had a landlord many years ago said to me, they were trying to get me down on fees, and I said, oh no, this is what we're doing. She said, oh, you know what? You know how you're giving the tenant that gift? Don't give them that gift and give me the discount. Like what it costs you to give them the gift, and I knew then that person was not congruent with our business. That was. But yeah, look, I understand. But for us, you don't do it because you expect anything back. You just do it because, that's what we do.
Yeah. So, Joe, typically how many agents are you up against? I mean, you're running a well-oiled machine that if you were to go up against a presentation and an owner might say, look, I'm calling other agencies and I'm getting you to come out as well. How many would you have? Like, what's your core area there of rivals?
I think in our immediate area, we probably have about 25 agents. Officers, and generally when I'm up against agents, 3 to 4. Yeah, there's probably there's 3 to 4 big players in our area, like big players in the sense that they're leading franchise officers in Australia. That at one stage we had 2 of the leading officers in Australia for separate franchise groups, all within our core market. But again, and we know they concentrate on sales, we know all that, and that's why we beat them, 9 times out of 10 when we get into a situation where we're competing. But again, yeah, it's very competitive. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt it is. And so what would be your key points of differences against those agencies? Obviously, it's great to hear that you're winning most of the business against them. It doesn't matter what awards other businesses have won. You come up against them and you're winning, which is great. But what would be your key point PODs?
Yeah, well, look, we're known, and I think it's hard when you're starting off because you wouldn't be known or you don't have a reputation. But we are known for doing property management properly, and we're known for our processes. Again, I do sort of harp on our processes when I go into presentations, and our processes around tenant screening, and our processes around how we do our routine how we do our inspections, our ingoing inspections. Again, one of the things that I took away maybe 10 years when we met, videotaping ingoings, we've been doing it for 15 years. And the other guys are still not doing it. Like they're still walking around with a tip report, and again, I sit down with landlords, and most landlords, what are they concerned about? The tenant not paying the rent and the damage in the property. So we go in and we say, we videotape, and look at this as a video, and it goes for 30 minutes. And then we get a report, which is 50 pages long with photos. So, and they go, wow, you do that. Yeah, of course we do that, So I guess, yeah, that's our point of difference. I mean, since I've been a director of the company, I think we do push that. Being a director of the company and working in property management on a day-to-day basis, landlords love the fact that they can ring me anytime. So I always say to people, I manage 1,000 properties because at any given time I will get a call from a landlord or a tenant, and 9 times out of 10 I will know what they're calling me about, because my team is very, oh, Joe, look, this is happening, that, they do come to me, and I like to know, if there's going to be an issue. So, potentially the fact that they can deal with me and I'll pick up the phone anytime, which I don't expect my staff to, but, they can ring me anytime. That gives people confidence as well. And they're not going to be passed around to different property managers. They know I'm here to stay, hopefully.
Yeah, well, Joe, I mean, if you've got the right systems and procedures in place and you know that you've got, great tools and a great team behind you, you can say, give me a call anytime with comfort, knowing that they're not going to call you.
Right? Really. And then when it does happen, you just take it on board and you run with it. But, most of the times when that happens, it's amazing that they just want to vent, but it's been sorted already, but they just want me to know. So, and I'm like, yeah, no worries. And, that's the least I can do at the end of the day. Because when you take on a management, that's what you buy into. You can't not answer the phone. You can't ignore people. Like if they've got a problem, when they call me, I think they must have a genuine problem because they're calling me. So I need to step up at that time. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I mean, and you've really identified some good key points of differences, and when you're sharing your points of difference with the clients, I love that you're actually showing them your experience, like how you do it. And you're showing them, so that trust value, you're speaking from the heart, and it's a lot more genuine, and they get it. So, which leads me to my next question, Joe. So you've shared your points of difference with them, but what about when they still ask you the question, but the other agent's cheaper? Can you match their fees?
And that's a hard one, and depending on how this, the conversation's going. Look, I think with most people, my sort of spiel would be that, look, we'd love to offer you a discount, but for us to do that, that means we're going to have to compromise on the level of service that we provide. And look, that's not something we're prepared to do. For us to do what we do, we need to have the best people, the best systems, the best training, so that we can confidently say to people, we're going to look after your property and we're going to do an amazing job. So, if we do that right, then we should be paid what we're worth. Other agents, they choose to be cheap, so that they can gloss over the issues that they have or the things that they're not going to deliver on. Their point of difference is that they're going to be cheaper, but ultimately, at the end of the day, the reality is it's $5 or $10 that's going to be the difference. $500 a year in most cases. Like the reality is that we're going to deliver more than $500 worth of value to potential clients. To me, that's a small cost for someone to have peace of mind when they're investing in a property that potentially is $1 million, but you know what? I get it. And that's where it becomes difficult. If I don't get the opportunity to sit in front of them and, like you said, show them what I do, it's a really hard sell. So, and that you've assisted me over the years, with getting that core, throwing those little the bait out when I'm trying to get someone on the phone without just disclosing fees and things like that. It's a hard one, and you've helped me with an email that I potentially send that throws the carrot out, that wants people to want more. But I'm not going to tell you anything different. It's hard, but I know that if I get in front of someone, my chances are going to be so much better.
Yeah. So I mean, Joe, you're talking about the pre-listing email. It's a great pre-listing email. Anyone can go to the Inspired Growth Training website, click on Knowledge Library. When you click on Knowledge Library, click on Growth, and you'll see the option there for the pre-listing email. There's even a video there for you to watch. Joe, you're covering all aspects there. When you're selling your points of difference, when you're showing the client where do I sign, and instead of because you've set them up, where do I sign instead of what your fees are, the likelihood of people asking you for a discount would be minimal. I'm gonna put it out there for you. Would I be right in saying that?
And exactly right. When you're in front of them, and I guess that's again something that I've worked in, and again, you guys don't know it, but you guys help me so much every day with the things that you've instilled in us over the years. Darren, with his fee maximization, we added fees that before I used to say, oh no, I can't add that because I'm already the most expensive. So we added fees, and you know what? I can go into a presentation and I can give people a little win by dropping something that, a $27.50 a year financial summary. It makes them feel better. They've had a little win, but I still holding my fee.
Something, right?
Yeah, so I'm holding my fee. So it's been, I've been able to do that. And even you, Deniz, with the video messages and things like that, the text messaging, there's little things along the way that you can do. And I think people, if you've got someone who's serious about having their property managed properly, they will take note of stuff like that.
Yeah, well said.
Some people don't want to know, and I get that, and that's okay, because we don't want that. We don't want people that are just looking for the cheapest guy, because I know if I'm the cheapest, the next guy that comes along is going to be cheap and they're going to jump ship. So, for me, I don't need to be doing that. Yeah.
No, well said. Now, Joe, we have hundreds and hundreds of people listen to our podcast, and we get a lot of startup people, beginners in the industry, right? What advice would you give to somebody that's just starting in the industry? They may not have to be a BDM, or they're just getting into the real estate industry. What advice would you give somebody?
Look, I think be true to yourself, and look, if you honestly believe that you provide a good service, then be firm on what you charge, and don't sort of sell yourself short. I think there's a lot of points of differences that someone starting a business can, I fear sometimes people that are starting a business in our area, because I've got so many points of differences that I would use if I was them, just about being, the person that you deal with, and, being able to provide an exceptional service because you're hands-on, and it's only you, whatever it may be. But yeah, Jen, I find that when I talk to people, sometimes they go, "Oh, I'm starting a business, so I have to be cheap, or I have to do this, I have to do that." No, you don't. If you're true to yourself, people will find you because they want someone who's good at what they do. They don't want someone because they're cheap. So for me, I would say, and be consistent. Don't offer something that you can't deliver on. If you're out there, and again, this comes down to BDMs. I hear it all the time. They're offering all this stuff, but you know what? Their officers or their property managers can't deliver. So just be true to yourself, and back yourself, and sort of do what you say you're going to do. Don't sort of say something that you're not going to do.
Yeah, well said, Joe. Great advice there. It's being genuine, having integrity it's imperative in the real estate industry. Especially in property management, it will bite you in the backside. It always catches up on you, right?
Even as agents in general, like real estate agents, I get really disappointed when I see someone, or I hear of someone that's had a bad experience, and how they've been treated, because it's a reflection on all of us at the end of the day. And for me, I'd love to, I think agents are amazing. I think people don't underestimate, property managers go through. And for me, that's, you say, why I like to help people, because you know what? I had it tough when I was young, and I had to deal with stuff because I had no support. Because it was what it was. You had to teach yourself, so I make it a thing that in our office that they have always got someone to support. They will never go through a challenge or a tough situation without someone else beside them, sort of thing. And I think every property manager out there, I'd say to any property manager out there, if you have an issue and there's no one there to support you in your office, call me, because I'd help anyone, because I don't want them to go through the angst that I went through when I was starting off or learning.
Joe, speaks volumes about you. Myself, Michael, and Darren were in Broadbeach only a couple of weeks ago, and would you believe there was no conferences on, but we just happened to meet. We're at a blues festival. It was the night before. We were doing a 3-day boot camp, and we met a property manager. I was just sitting there eating my kebab, and this person said that they'd lost their passion for the industry. That is what woke me up. That woke me up in a conversation. I put the kebab down and I just went bang, 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 and threw a few things at them, because we don't want to see people lose their passion. So it's great advice there, buddy. Now, Joe, you're on stage potentially to 400, 300, 200, however many 100 people that we're going to have at the Inspired Growth Conference. There's going to be the top BDMs, property managers, agents all over Australia, New Zealand, and the world when they're allowed to travel, right? We are selling tickets overseas as well. What's the best bit of advice that you can give them, okay, if they're keen about serious growth? You're closing the conference. This is it. You're the last words. What's that advice that you can throw at them?
Well, I just think that, really invest in yourself. And what I mean by that is get knowledgeable about, the industry. If people meet you and you can give them advice, that's how you build rapport with people. So if someone's got a problem and you can help them with that problem, then, that person will become a client for life, sort of thing. So, and much the same that's happened with me. There's people that will call on me all the time. So I find that a lot of people don't invest in themselves. Whether they don't want to know about, the industry that they're in, whether they've got no interest in, as a BDM, you need to know something about sales. You need to know something about rentals. I know that, your job is to, sell the services of the property management team, but just know a little bit about it, because I think that's where people come undone when they can't answer that question, that the landlord is throwing at you. Then they lose interest, or they start to doubt your experience. But just invest in yourself. Try and get really knowledgeable about things that are important. And I say, if you can know a little bit about a lot, and a lot about a little, then I think you'll go far in our industry. You don't have to be the expert on every single thing, but just be an expert in what your core area is, or what your core job is, or your description, whatever that may be.
Yeah, well said, Joe. I mean, throughout the whole recording, you've been talking about going to training, implementing. You certainly, that advice that you've given at the end is something that you've personally done yourself. You've invested in yourself. You've become the expert yourself. You've, you spoke about video that you attended. I attended that one, and I did video as well. And look where we are today. It's because we implement and we get the results from it. So some amazing advice. No doubt people are going to reach out to you, Joe. You are an expert. A lot of people look up to you throughout Australia, New Zealand, and when we plug you in the UK and America as well. So thank you so much for coming on board. And obviously you're happy for people to reach out. You've said it.
I'd rather people reach out if they've got a problem than deal with it themselves or not know. And look, sometimes it's just even to talk about it. Like I have issues that, this week we've been dealing with an issue that's been quite, it just quite makes you anxious and things like that. So even having my team to talk to them about it, explain to them what's happening and what we're doing about it has been sort of, just relieves a lot of that stress and pressure that people hold on to, sort of thing. So if anyone, my phone is always on, and always happy to chat to anyone, especially in our industry, especially young, and it's always good to have someone to call.
Joe, you happy for us to put your phone number in the write-up? You can call it out now if you like as well.
Definitely, mate. My mobile 0411 224 129, mate, anytime.
Yeah, and anyone from overseas, that is +614. Okay, +6. You just get rid of the 0 and add the +61 there. Joe, thank you very much for popping in. I highly recommend anyone to pop in and see Joe face to face, so you can really see the genuine guy that he is. I love having you on our recordings. We've had you on multiple times, and looking forward to seeing you again speaking at our conference. Thank you very much, Joe.
Pleasure, mate. Thank you.